Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into Emotional First Aid, a practical guide penned by Winch, PhD, aimed at mending the everyday emotional injuries we all encounter. Whether grappling with feelings of rejection, loss, or low self-esteem, this book provides actionable strategies to prevent these common psychological pains from escalating into long-lasting scars. Winch, with over 2 decades of experience as a licensed psychologist, is revered for his pioneering efforts to intertwine the science of emotions with the nuances of daily existence. An acclaimed author and a fervent advocate for emotional health, Winch has contributed significantly to the field through his writings for PsychologyToday.com, books like The Squeaky Wheel and How to Fix a Broken Heart, and his inspirational TED Talk, ranked among the top 5 most motivating of all time. Emotional First Aid is an essential read not just for those struggling to overcome past hurts, but also for psychology aficionados and parents who aspire to instill resilience in their children. Join us in uncovering the healing powers of emotional first aid and embark on a journey towards personal recovery and growth. Emotional First Aid, Healing, Rejection, Guilt, Failure, and Other Everyday Hurts. Introduction, Heal Your Heart, Navigating the Aches of Emotion. Like a splinter lodged in our finger or a tweak in the knee after a clumsy step, life's mishaps are not just physical. Our emotional well-being often encounters its own set of scrapes and bruises. Rejection, failure, and the occasional blow to our self-esteem are but a few examples. While most households are armed to the teeth with bandages and antiseptics for bodily harm, our preparation for emotional turmoil is, more often than not, woefully inadequate. If ignored or mishandled, these psychological scrapes can fester, potentially evolving into more severe mental health issues. Yet our societal first aid kit lacks the tools to address these common emotional injuries. Enter a new perspective, one that arms you with the necessary tools to treat these all too common emotional wounds. This guide doesn't just acknowledge the existence of emotional pain, it actively offers strategies and remedies to heal from it. Here, you'll discover the balm for the wounds of rejection, learn how to stitch the gashes left by failure, and find ways to bolster a bruised ego back to health. In this treasure trove of emotional wisdom, you'll unearth the art of the heartfelt apology, a remedy that heals both the giver and the receiver. Strategies for facing failures without letting them define you, turning setbacks into comebacks. Insights into the peculiar relationship between self-esteem and one's mental immune system, delineating how a robust self-view can fend off negativity, much like our bodies resist the common cold. Dive into these lessons and equip yourself with the essential tools to tend to your emotional well-being, ensuring that you can withstand the rigors of life's emotional upheavals with resilience and grace. Part 1. Turning Rejection into Resilience. A Guide to Self-Reaffirmation. Try to cast your mind back to the playground days, when the sting of not being picked for the basketball team felt like the world was ending, or to that heart-sinking moment when an eagerly awaited party invitation never arrived. It's almost a universal rite of passage, our inaugural brush with rejection. While the scenarios evolve as we grow older, the ignored greeting or the job offer that never materializes, the emotional impact of being rejected remains profound, touching on our deep-seated fears and vulnerabilities. Rejection, an unwelcome but frequent visitor throughout our lives, inflicts pain that goes beyond mere disappointment. It shakes the foundations of our self-esteem and disrupts our innate desire to belong. Neglecting these wounds, no matter how small they may seem, risks them festering into more significant psychological distress. The core message here is a rallying call to action. Reaffirm yourself to prevent minor rejections from doing serious harm. Every rejection bears the risk of undermining our self-esteem, propelling us down a spiral of self-criticism and doubt. It's crucial, then, to intercept these negative thoughts with affirmations of our value and worth. Challenge each negative thought head on with kindness and relevance. For instance, if a job slips through your fingers, instead of blaming your inadequacies, remind yourself that perhaps the role demanded a very niche skill set. To bolster your defenses, engage in an exercise of self-appreciation. Identify and articulate 5 personal strengths, especially those relevant to the rejection at hand. Writing about these traits, their importance in your life, and their contribution to your self-image can reinforce your sense of self-worth and mitigate the pain of rejection. Finally, healing also comes from our social connections. Our primal need for belonging makes rejection all the more bitter, but it also provides a path to recovery. Surround yourself with people who make you feel valued and connected. If direct contact isn't an option, surrounding yourself with meaningful reminders of connection, be it photographs, heartfelt messages, or cherished keepsakes, can similarly help heal the emotional rift caused by rejection. In navigating rejection, the goal is not just to survive, but to thrive, transforming painful experiences into opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Through reaffirming our worth and embracing our social bonds, we not only heal but build resilience, ready to face the world with renewed strength and confidence. Part 2: Breaking the Shackles of Loneliness, a Path to Connectedness. In an era where technology seemingly erases geographical barriers, creating a network that spans the globe, a paradoxical trend emerges. Loneliness has become an all too common affliction. Despite the myriad ways to reach out and touch someone digitally, a gaping void of emotional and social isolation persists. It's a peculiar kind of solitude, one where you can have 1,000 friends online and yet feel disconnected from every single one. Loneliness is not merely the absence of company, but the feeling of being disconnected, misunderstood, or unseen by those around us. It's akin to standing in a crowded room, screaming silently, unable to make a single soul hear or understand you. The crux of the matter is, loneliness perpetuates itself through a cruel cycle that exacerbates isolation and makes reaching out feel insurmountable. When loneliness embeds itself into our lives, it breeds hopelessness and a defensive pessimism that preemptively douses any potential connections in skepticism and doubt. Here's the heartening truth. Loneliness creates a vicious cycle, but it can be broken. Embarking on the journey out of loneliness begins with reframing our inner narrative. Envision positive interactions instead of bracing for rejection. Imagine yourself weaving through a party, striking up enriching conversations, smiling. Such positive visualizations can shift your mindset and make it more likely for you to step out and connect. Emerging from the shadows of loneliness requires action to counteract feelings of helplessness. Rekindle connections with individuals from your past with whom you've shared positive moments. Venture into the digital world not just as a spectator, but as a participant in forums and groups that align with your interests. These steps can reinvigorate your sense of agency in navigating your social world. Attention then shifts to self-sabotaging behaviors. Loneliness often nudges us into patterns that further alienate us. Turning down invitations, offering terse responses, or hiding behind our digital screens in social settings. To break this cycle, undertake a candid review of recent social experiences. Identify and consciously avoid behaviors that act as barriers to genuine interaction. The final stride toward dispelling loneliness involves honing your empathic abilities. Empathy, the capacity to understand and share the feelings of others, is the cornerstone of meaningful relationships. Practice viewing the world through the eyes of others, delve into their perspectives, and cultivate a genuine understanding of their experiences. This not only enriches your interactions, but solidifies connections built on mutual understanding and compassion. Breaking free from loneliness is a journey of intentional steps toward fostering genuine connections. It's about challenging our negative assumptions, taking proactive measures to engage with the world, identifying behaviors that stifle connection and nurturing empathy. In doing so, we can transform the chilling embrace of loneliness into the warm, fulfilling glow of connectedness. Part 3: Navigating Through Storms, Healing and Finding Meaning After Loss. Loss and trauma, words that conjure images of catastrophic events, accidents that alter the course of our lives, and the profound grief that accompanies the death of loved ones. These moments undeniably shape our journey, casting long shadows over our sense of well-being. But it's crucial to recognize that the spectrum of loss and trauma also encompasses experiences that might seem less dramatic: the end of a relationship, moving away from a place that feels like home, or the loss of a job. Each of these situations can jolt our lives, altering our self-perception and challenging our ability to move forward. Here lies the key insight. Reclaiming parts of ourselves and finding meaning are essential steps to piecing our lives together after loss and trauma. Imagine our sense of self as a mosaic, each piece representing different aspects of our identity and beliefs. When we encounter loss or trauma, it's as though this mosaic gets shattered. Pieces of who we are, our roles, relationships, passions, can suddenly seem out of reach, obscured by the pain of our experiences. To embark on the path of recovery, it's vital to sift through the debris of our shattered selves and begin the delicate process of reassembly. Start by reflecting on the components of your identity and life that have been neglected or lost in the wake of trauma. This might mean revisiting passions that have lain dormant or re-engaging with social circles that were once integral to your sense of self. Methodically reintegrate these aspects into your life, beginning with the most accessible steps, working your way through the mosaic piece by piece until the picture of who you are starts to emerge once more. But loss and trauma do more than fracture our identity. They often shake the very foundations of our belief systems. For many, the belief in a just world is a cornerstone of their understanding of life. Experiencing injustice firsthand can leave us questioning this and other core beliefs, thrusting us into a disquieting state of reflection. In such moments, the quest for meaning becomes paramount. This journey unfolds in two pivotal stages. Initially, it's about shifting our questioning from the circumstantial how to the existential why, a move that propels us towards deeper, often spiritual or philosophical, explorations that can lead to a reconciliation with our experiences. The subsequent phase involves unearthing the positive amidst the rubble of our pain. It's in this space that many find new appreciation for life's fragilities, channel their experiences into creative expression, or discover a newfound resilience. These silver linings, though often faint at first, can ultimately provide solace and a sense of purpose in the aftermath of trauma. Healing from loss and trauma, therefore, is not just about patching up wounds, but about a thoughtful reconstruction of ourselves and our worldview. It's a journey of reclaiming lost parts of our identity and discovering meaning in our experiences, a process that, while challenging, can lead us to a richer understanding of both ourselves and the world around us. Part 4: Finding Peace by Mending Bonds, the Path Through Guilt. There's hardly a person who hasn't felt the heavy weight of guilt at one time or another. Whether it's the result of letting down a friend or causing pain to someone close to our hearts, guilt has an uncanny way of making its presence felt. This emotional signal, as uncomfortable as it may be, serves an important purpose. It nudges us towards making amends, acting as a guardian of our relationships and our moral compass. However, the problem arises when guilt spirals out of control, leading to a state of distress that hampers our ability to lead fulfilling lives and maintain healthy relationships. Picture the scenario where guilt over a past mistake causes someone to avoid their friend entirely, exacerbating the emotional distance between them. The way out of this guilt-induced paralysis lies in mending our relationships, both with the people we've hurt and with ourselves. A genuine apology serves as the first step towards alleviating guilt. Yet, a true apology extends far beyond the mere utterance of, "I'm sorry." It requires a deliberate effort to validate the feelings of the person we've wronged, demonstrating our understanding and remorse for the pain caused. Following this, amends should be made, possibly through some form of compensation that can help repair the damage. Finally, a commitment to change our behavior and avoid repeating the mistake underscores the sincerity of our apology. Such comprehensive apologies can pave the way for forgiveness, liberating us from the clutches of guilt. But what happens if the opportunity for apology is absent? Either because the person is no longer in our lives or refuses to accept our efforts at making amends? Here is where the challenge of self-forgiveness arises, demanding that we navigate our way through guilt on our own. Self-forgiveness is a journey that starts with taking full responsibility for our actions and their impact on others. It's about recognizing our missteps and committing to a future in which these errors are not repeated. Concrete actions often accompany this commitment. This might involve returning something we've taken or contributing our time and energy to a cause that addresses the harm we've caused. By following these steps towards self-forgiveness, we do more than just free ourselves from guilt. We embark on a path of personal growth, embracing opportunities to contribute positively to the lives of others, and in the process, healing the relationship with our inner selves. It's through this journey that we find the balm for our guilty consciences, learning to live in harmony with our values and the people who matter most in our lives. Part 5. Escaping the revolving door of rumination. A shift in perspective. Picture this: a friend, freshly wounded from the battlefield of love, recounting their breakup saga so often that you know the script by heart. Initially, you might offer a shoulder to cry on, but as time ticks on, your patience wears thin. This phenomenon, where one becomes ensnared in a loop of rehashing past pains, is known as rumination. Far from being a plight exclusive to the broken-hearted, it's a trap many fall into, obsessively pondering over distressing moments and, in the process, amplifying their anguish. Rumination is the mental equivalent of picking at a wound, preventing emotional recovery, incubating anger, sapping vitality, and invariably straining relationships with those subjected to the endless replay of grievances. The key to breaking free from this cycle? Shifting perspectives and reframing events can help you get out of a rumination rut. The journey to halt, the churn of painful memories, begins by altering the angle from which we view our past experiences. Habitually, we replay these moments through a first-person lens, a perspective that places us back in the throes of distress without offering any clarity or closure. A shift to a third-person perspective, viewing our experiences as if we were an outsider looking in, can be transformative. Research highlighted in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology in 2010 supports this approach, revealing that such a detached viewpoint can unearth insights and foster a sense of closure. Next time rumination beckons, picture yourself as a bystander, observing your own story. This mental exercise can pave the way to a more objective understanding of your experiences. But what about the residual anger and torment that rumination breeds? Here, the art of reframing comes into play. By seeking out hidden positives, intentions, or learnings within our unfortunate experiences, we can dial down the emotional tumult. Michael Phelps, the decorated Olympian, exemplifies this technique by transforming the jeers of rivals into fuel for his training, demonstrating how a shift in perception can lead to profound achievements. Yet, altering our perspective is just one piece of the puzzle. To fully extricate ourselves from the rumination loop, employing distraction is key. Engaging in activities that demand our focus, be it an engrossing conversation or an invigorating run, can redirect our minds from the clutches of obsessive thought. Tailoring distractions to fit different environments ensures that we have an arsenal at our disposal, whether we're pacing at home or navigating the hustle of the subway. Through consistent application of these strategies, adopting an observer's perspective, reframing our narratives, and embracing distraction, we can liberate ourselves from the grasp of rumination Transforming the way we process past pains not only frees us from recurring mental anguish but opens the door to a more present and peaceful existence. Part 6. Turning the Tide on Failure. Embrace it as a catalyst for growth. The F word, better known as failure, accompanies us like a shadow through various stages of our lives. From our earliest falls as we learn to walk, to professional setbacks in adulthood, failure is an ever-present reality. Yet, frequent occurrence doesn't strip failure of its bite. It can shake our confidence, breed fear of future endeavors, and even persuade us to shrink back from the brink of new opportunities. However, it's not the act of failing itself that determines our growth trajectory, but our response to it. Let's delve into the essential insight. Responding to failure immediately and in the right way turns it into an opportunity for growth. When faced with failure, our initial impulse might be to seek solace in the arms of a sympathetic listener. While emotional support does provide a temporary salve, it is the coupling of empathy with actionable advice that truly propels us forward. Shared sorrow must also carry with it seeds of wisdom, guiding us to glean valuable lessons from the ashes of our disappointments. Failure, in its cold embrace, often leaves us feeling a mix of hopelessness and demoralization. In the aftermath, it's crucial to resist the descent into despair by reclaiming control over the situation. Engage in a reflective exercise that scrutinizes your approach and pinpoints areas for improvement. Break down these insights into tangible goals, thereby crafting a roadmap for redemption. Yet, even with a plan in hand, the specter of past failures can cast a long shadow, fueling anxieties and fears that threaten to undermine future ventures. For instance, consider someone re-entering the job market after a lengthy hiatus, whose nerves derail even the prospect of attending interviews. Such paralyzing fears, if left unchecked, perpetuate a self-defeating cycle. To disarm these fears, open channels of communication with trusted individuals or consider journaling as a form of self-reflection. When anxiety dares to interrupt your pursuit, employ focused breathing exercises as a tool to anchor your attention away from fear and back to the task at hand. The message is clear. Failure, though an inevitable companion along life's journey, harbors within it the potential for significant personal growth. By adopting the right mix of support, reflection, goal setting, and strategies to navigate anxiety, we can transform failure from a stumbling block into a stepping stone. Let us not shirk from failure, but face it head on, armed with the resolve to learn, adapt, and thrive in its wake. Part 7. Building your emotional immunity, the path to enhanced self-esteem. With the arrival of flu season, advice abounds on how to fortify our physical health. Vaccines, vitamins, and various prevention strategies are all aimed at bolstering our immunity to withstand potential assaults. Just as a robust immune system serves as a shield against illness, a strong sense of self-esteem acts as a protective barrier for our mental and emotional well-being, guarding against the trials and tribulations life throws our way. So, the burning question arises: how can we cultivate this mental resilience? Here's the essential insight. To strengthen self-esteem, be kinder to yourself, and acknowledge your positive qualities. Imagine an ever-present inner critic, meticulously cataloging every mistake and flaw. This internal dialogue can erode our sense of self-worth if left unchecked. Combating this negativity requires a dose of self-compassion, a deliberate shift towards treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a dear friend. Embark on a journey of self-compassion with a simple exercise. Reflect on a moment that left you feeling self-critical, and then write about it as if consoling a friend in a similar predicament. This exercise not only tempers self-criticism, but encourages a nurturing inner voice. While practicing self-compassion lays the foundation for enhancing self-esteem. Actively recognizing and affirming your positive traits solidifies it. Engage in the empowering exercise of listing your strengths and virtues, elaborating on each with brief narratives that highlight their significance in your life. This practice not only counters self-doubt but also primes you for success in challenging situations, such as job interviews or social encounters. Empowering yourself is the final piece of the self-esteem puzzle. A sense of autonomy and influence over one's life trajectory significantly contributes to self-worth. Begin this empowerment journey by itemizing aspects of your life you wish to improve or change. Arrange these in order of ascending difficulty, then strategize actionable steps for each goal. Progressing through this list, celebrating each victory, however small, fuels a virtuous cycle of empowerment and self-esteem enhancement. By integrating self-compassion, positive affirmation of personal traits, and proactive steps towards self-empowerment into our daily practices, we can substantially bolster our emotional immunity. Just as a flu shot prepares our bodies to fend off infection, nurturing our self-esteem equips us to navigate life's challenges with resilience, grace, and an unshakable belief in our inherent worth. Final summary. Life's journey is inevitably marked by moments of emotional discomfort. Loss, failure, rejection, and guilt weave through our experiences, leaving us tender and at times profoundly affected. These emotional trials are universal, sparing no one, and their impacts can ripple through our lives, altering our happiness, relationships, and how we view ourselves. However, there's hope amidst the hurt. Like applying a salve to a burn or a compress to a wound, we can take proactive steps to mend our emotional injuries. The journey to recovery involves recognizing these emotional challenges and addressing them head-on, armed with strategies that nurture our minds and spirits. By embracing techniques such as reframing our perspectives on failure, nurturing our self-esteem with compassion, and practicing forgiveness towards ourselves and others, we plant the seeds of resilience. This resilience not only heals us from past wounds but fortifies us against the challenges yet to come. Emotional well-being, much like physical health, requires attention, care, and sometimes intervention. In acknowledging our pain and taking deliberate action to heal, we embark on a path to a more fulfilled and balanced life. Let this be a call to action, to safeguard our emotional health with the same vigilance we protect our physical well-being, ensuring that the inevitable emotional hurts we face don't detract from our quality of life in the long haul. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.